Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So we're in a little bit of an unrecognizable spot, probably.
Yes.
But we're at the manor.
Yeah. Oh look,
We're,
airplanes have followed us.
yeah, helicopter rather. So,
We're at the manor in this little like nook.
well, it's where they have the bonfire for Holi.
Yeah,
And,
it's a nook.
yeah.
It's a nook. But the helicopters decided to follow us. Alright, Canto 4, Chapter 4, Text 17.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Text 17. Sati continued. If one hears an irresponsible person blaspheme the master and controller of religion, one should block his ears and go away if unable to punish him. But if one is able to kill, then one should by force cut out the blasphemer's tongue and kill the offender. And after that, one should give up his own life. Oh dear.
I don't, just so it's clear, because when you read that, it could sound one way, but it's meant another way. It doesn't mean you give up your own life after you cut out the blasphemer's tongue. Is that what you understood?
Yeah.
That's not what it means. It means there are three options. You can either, one should block his ears and go away if you're not able to punish him. If you can punish him, then you should cut out his tongue. Or if you can't do either of those, you should just kill yourself. That's my understanding.
Let's see what Prabhupada says. That is also my understanding, but so it's not that I didn't. I was just going to continue with the Prabhupada. Alright, Prabhupada by Srila Prabhupada. The argument offered by Sati is that a person who vilifies a great personality is the lowest of all creatures. But by the same argument, Daksha could also defend himself by saying that since he was a Prajapati, the master of many living creatures and one of the great officers of the great universal affairs, his position was so exalted that Sati should accept his good qualities instead of vilifying him. The answer to that argument is that Sati was not vilifying but defending. If possible, she should have cut out Daksha's tongue because he blasphemed Lord Shiva. Oh dear. In other words, since Lord Shiva is the protector of religion, a person who vilifies him should be killed at once. And after killing such a person, one should give up one's life.
Okay, interesting.
That is the process. But because Daksha happened to be the father of Sati, she decided not to kill him, but to give up her own life in order to compensate for the great sin she had committed by hearing blasphemy of Lord Shiva. The instruction set forth here in Srimad Bhagavatam is that one should not tolerate at any cost the activities of a person who vilifies or blasphemes an authority. If one is a Brahmana, he should not give up his body because by doing so he would be responsible for killing a Brahmana. Therefore, a Brahmana should leave the place or block his ears so that he will not hear the blasphemy. If one happens to be a Kshatriya, he has the power to punish any man. Therefore, a Kshatriya should at once cut out the tongue of the vilifier and kill him. But as far as the Vaishyas and Shudras are concerned, they should immediately give up their bodies. Oh dear. Sati decided to give up her body because she thought herself to be among the Shudras and Vaishyas. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, text 32, Striya Vaishya Tata Shudra. Women labourers and a mercantile class are on the same level. Thus, since it is recommended that Vaishyas and Shudras should immediately give up their bodies upon hearing blasphemy of an exalted person like Lord Shiva, she decided to give up her body.
Give up her life.
I can't say I agree with that, but anyway, she did decide to go there, so now what? Would have been better if you stayed at home with Lord Shiva. A cup of tea, but anyway, it's very drastic. Very drastic.
Yeah, it seems a bit extreme. But I think it's extreme for the purpose of showing how severe blasphemy of a Vaishnava is.
Well, the way I understood it is that the result or the actions that are being advised that you do, to me, suggests that the act of hearing the blasphemy is so fatal for you that this is the what is the word, like
penance,
not penance, you know, like if you get some
atonement
disease or you catch some nasty,
this is the vaccine, the cure.
Yeah, there's some, you know, it's such a, look, forget about the person who's speaking, they'll be dealt with, as it were, one way or the other. But for us who's hearing it, it's such a
dangerous, poisonous.
Yeah, that this is the way to deal with it, and the way to deal with it is either you got to just kill yourself, because it's just, you're ruined anyway, if that makes sense. Your spiritual life is ruined anyway because you've heard blasphemy. And this is a topic that, like, for example, in my ladies mentorship group, it comes up a lot. We're obviously not going to name names because that's not what it's about, but we obviously served before, and then we're at the manor now at the same. Anyway, we all know people. So the point is, they bring it up a lot because they feel really compromised, because especially when it deals with, like, Daksha, as Prabhupada points out, is a Prajapati. There's not any old, it's not that they ignore him, oh, he's just some silly mercantile, you know, some menial person, Shudra. He's exalted in his own way. So in the same way, for example, what I'm trying to say is, some of these devotees, when we discuss, how do we deal with senior devotees who themselves are being brash, harsh about other people, and they're junior to them, and you're in the same environment. In one sense, they're speaking to you, they are, and they feel awkward to leave, and they definitely don't want to turn around and cut their tongue out, or they don't want to kill themselves, and why would they do that? And they don't want to tell them off. So it comes up a lot, and the example I give was one of my god sisters who was in this situation, and we both were. And for me, I would squirm, but I was really impressed with how she dealt with it. She spoke to the senior devotee very politely. It wasn't rude, it was awkward, but she made it clear in a polite, assertive way, not aggressive. I don't like to hear these things, and just humbly requesting, please don't speak like this around me. And it was very difficult for her to do, but they stopped doing it with her, and they didn't stop doing me, which is, you know, because I didn't put that out, I didn't set that boundary. So yeah, she didn't have to do anything majorly drastic, and she didn't report it to the authorities, but very, I would say, in a mature way, made it known, I don't like this. And I guess what I'm trying to say is, and what I say to the girls, yeah, you don't need to go around killing people yourself or pull their tongues out, but somehow or the other we do have to take responsibility for our spiritual lives and the health of it and the quality of it, which may mean don't be sentimental, and one has to be, say, a little assertive and do like that, and set boundaries and set the environment if possible. Because if you're sentimental and allow it, you're going to hear these things, and either it will affect you one way or the other. Either then we start to believe it, or it will affect you, as Prabhupada is explaining. It's like a virus almost. It's so nasty that really all you can do when you take poison, you're going to die anyway, so just kill yourself.
Oh,
I
think the word you were looking for earlier might have been antidote.
Antidote.
Anyway, that's all very valid. This point I was mentioning, seems Prabhupada says both things. So the first time he says a Kshatriya should cut the tongue out and then kill himself, and then later he says that Vaishya and Shudras, they should just kill themselves. Now I didn't remember it being in accordance with your Varna. I seem to remember that if you weren't able to do this, you should do that. If you can't do this, you should do that. But anyway, I think everything you said really backs it up. So, text 18. Therefore I shall no longer bear this unworthy body which has been received from you who have blasphemed Lord Shiva. If someone has taken food which is poisonous, the best treatment is to vomit.
Oh dear.
Purport. Since Sati was the representation of the external potency of the Lord, it was in her power to vanquish many universes, including many dakshas. But in order to save her husband from the charge that he employed his wife Sati to kill Daksha because he could not do so due to his inferior position, she decided to give up her body. I would have to read that again because that made no sense to me at all. But in order to save her husband from the charge... Okay, I see. So in order to save her husband, Shiva, from the charge that he, Lord Shiva, employed Sati, his wife, means he asked her to go and kill Daksha because he couldn't do so because because of his inferior position. She decided to give up her body. So basically, what's being said here is that if she were actually to do what she should have done, which is basically cut out Daksha's tongue, and if you cut out someone's tongue, that more or less means you kind of kill them. I'm pretty sure they're going to bleed to death.
It's horrible.
And so if she had done that, then what's being said here in the purport by Srila Prabhupada is that then Lord Shiva would have been accused of getting his wife to go there and kill his enemy because he wasn't potent enough to do it himself.
He was too weak.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
Text 19. It is better to execute one's own occupational duty than to criticize others. Elevated transcendentalists may sometimes forego the rules and regulations of the Vedas, since they do not need to follow them. Just as the demigods travel in space, whereas ordinary men travel on the surface of the earth. Robot. The behavior of the most elevated transcendentalist and that of the most fallen conditioned soul appears to be the same. The elevated transcendentalist can surpass all the regulations of the Vedas, just as the demigods traveling in space surpass all the jungles and rocks on the surface of the globe, although a common man who has no such ability to travel in space has to face all those impediments. Although the most dear Lord Shiva appears not to observe all the rules and regulations of the Vedas, he is not affected by such disobedience. But a common man who wants to imitate Lord Shiva is mistaken. A common man must observe all the rules and regulations of the Vedas, which a person who is in a transcendental position does not need to observe. Daksha found fault with Lord Shiva for not observing all the strict rules and regulations of the Vedas, but Sati asserted that he had no need to observe such rules. It is said that for one who is powerful like the sun or the fire, there is no consideration of purity or impurity. The sunshine can sterilize an impure place, whereas if someone else were to pass such a place, he would be affected. One should not try to imitate Lord Shiva. Rather, one should strictly follow one's prescribed occupational duties. One should never vilify a great personality like Lord Shiva. So it's often seen like that, isn't it? Senior devotees, or even whether amongst us, or reading in the pages of Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. Sometimes you think, what's going on there? Why are they acting like that? Why are they doing that? But it's like if you know what a musical song sheet is, and it has the lines and the notes. Do you know what I mean? Music sheet. So if you know how to read music, and then you see those like musical notes, you know which strings to strut, as it were, on a guitar.
Strum, but yeah.
So I'm not a musician. Alright, now you made me lose my train of thought.
So if you can get a sheet of music and you can read, then the notes tell you what to strum on the guitar or play on the piano.
Yeah.
And that's likened to what?
Because you interrupted me.
I didn't interrupt, child. Sorry.
But okay, I think I remember, but I don't really. But so like Lord Shiva and transcendentalists as well, they don't like. So we read that in black and white. You give that to the bass guitar player, give it to the trumpet man, give it to the flute person, and they'll interpret that on their level. And personalities like Shiva, they are working on different strings. See, I lost it now completely. Everyone's going to think I'm crazy.
I don't think you're crazy. I mean, people forget all the time what they were saying, lose their train of thought, as they say. Confirmed.
All right,
but usually it comes back, so you remember it another time, and then
right,
I'm sure it was a really good one, and I'm sorry that I interrupted by correcting your strutting a guitar instead of strumming it.
Well, yeah, strut your stuff, that's why.
Yeah. Okay. Should we read on, or should we conclude here? It's quite a long purport. Next one. What do you think?
Shall we strut our stuff and leave it here?
Alright, I think we'll strut our stuff, mate, and leave it here. Okay, everyone, thank you so much. You can see it's a sunny day, feeling the heat. We've been outside most of the day. It's really nice to have this kind of weather. Please read the Srimad Bhagavatam wherever you are, whenever you are, however you are, and whoever you are. And please don't forget to share the Bhagavatam Bites with friends, relatives, family, even people you don't like. Share it with everyone. And we'll see you next time. Hare Krishna. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.